Hey everybody, Rob coming at you from Karma Comic Chameleon with another Ask Reddit thread. What is the most disrespectful thing that someone has done in your home? Let's jump right in. A babysitter stole my vibrator and blocked my calls. Like, really? Why would you want someone else's vibrator? Buddy from college was traveling through town and stayed with my wife and I for the weekend. Nothing crazy, hung out, remembered our college years. A few days after he left, my guest bathroom reeked. Took a bit to figure out, but finally discovered an upper decker left for us. Disgusting. Had a drunk partygoer attempt to do pull-ups from the planks of my old ranch-style ceiling just beneath the heater vent and ended up pulling down a large portion of my ceiling. Refused to pay for it. When I was in Cub Scouts in 3rd grade nonetheless, my mom hosted a meeting for the scouts in my grade at school where we built birdhouses for some badge or something. While we were waiting for everyone to arrive, me and the scouts who had already arrived started playing in my backyard. One scout, let's call him N, told us he had to go to the bathroom really bad and left. When everyone arrives to start the project, I noticed that N was sitting at the edge of the table looking down, and my mom was really angry and was trying her best to suppress it. She asked me and all the other scouts if I had given N permission to go in my room. Me and all my friends said no. He said he had to go to the bathroom really bad. This response only made my mom even more visibly angry, and N ducked his head more. 5 minutes later, N's mom arrives and is apologizing profusely to my mom. Turns out, N went into my room, pocketed the $20 I'd been saving up. I got paid $2 a week for mowing the lawn as an allowance, and was stuffing my toys and video games into his backpack. My mom went upstairs to actually use the bathroom and noticed the theft taking place and caught him red-handed. He then lied to my mom and said I gave him permission to go into my room and he was just checking it out. But no, my mom caught him red-handed, and my mom is scary when she's mad. In total, he tried to steal around $150 in Game Boy cartridges, Pokemon cards, and toys, and around 3 months of allowance. I rented a room to someone I knew since I was 12. He was using and selling H from my house. I found out and told him to get the F out. He was too lazy to use the bathroom and pissed in bottles. I didn't know. Threw the piss all over the room before he left, carved swastikas in my kid's bunk bed I was letting him use. She invited a bunch of sleazy guys over despite me asking her not to. She let them in while I was in the shower, so I did not realize they were in my house. She then took one into my housemate's bedroom and locked the door. Super disrespectful to my housemate, who had so kindly offered that she could stay in her room as she was going to be at her boyfriend's for the weekend. When I got out of the shower, one of the guys was in my bed, and I was like, dude, get the F out of my bedroom. And he refused and said my friend said he could stay there. I was very not okay with that. I physically had to push him out of my house. The next day, when she sobered up, I kicked her out of my house and did not speak to her for 3 years. When I was in like 2nd grade, I invited this girl over and we made popcorn as a snack, and not even 5 minutes later, this girl decided it's a good idea to run all over my house throwing it everywhere. This goes on another 5 minutes while I chase her down, but the damage is done. The popcorn is in between couch cushions, under the fridge, under my bed, in my laundry basket, all over the damn floor. My mom ends up sitting us down and proceeds to lay it out on her, telling her that what she did was disrespectful and to help clean up. She pouted and said no, saying since it wasn't her house, she didn't have to clean anything. She continued to pout as my mom called her mom and pretty much told her to leave and not expect to be invited back anytime soon. I haven't spoke to her in a while, but apparently she got banned from the mall for trashing a Lush store with her friend, throwing food, dumping out products, and smashing bath bombs, so I guess she hasn't changed much. Constantly unplugging electronics. First it was the thermostat, she didn't like the sound the water heater made, then the Wi-Fi, the CIA was snooping on her, and finally my fridge. She was saving the environment. My wife's cousin was staying at our house because he was going through marital problems. One night I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard some change rattling. He walks down the hall with my 5-year-old's piggy bank. He was taking money from my effing daughter's piggy bank to buy beer and smokes. One night, the girls who lived in the apartment across the hall brought a friend with them to hang with us. As soon as she walked in, she screamed, "This will be hilarious! College guys always get the crappy hand-me-down dishes from their parents." She walked into the kitchen and began pulling out pans and dishes and howling about how old and ratty they were. Our friends were mortified. When they tried to talk to her, she talked louder. After 30 seconds of this lunacy, my roommate and I told her to leave. She threw a giant fit and called us a-holes. When I was a kid, I invited a friend over, and she tried to trap and suffocate my new kittens in a box. Back in college, my roommates and I hosted a birthday party for a mutual friend at our apartment. Earlier that day, we gifted her a pet goldfish because she had been talking about getting a fish. Fast forward to later in the night, our male friend, let's call him Mike, decided he needed to find a way to impress our other friend, who I'll call Darla. Mike tries every lame joke and pickup line on Darla and fails time and time again. Then he sees the goldfish in his tank and scoops him up in his hand. He says, "Check this out, Darla." He then plops the fish into his mouth and swallows it alive. My roommate and I immediately rush over and start trying to make Mike puke the fish back up. Darla quickly makes for the door and leaves the party. Sadly, that fish met its doom in Mike's stomach that night. He never apologized, although he did complain about severe stomach issues for several days afterward. Not my home, but I was renting a house and the landlady kept turning up unannounced and would let herself in, and would give the key to people doing work on the house without telling us, so we'd, without warning, have strangers let themselves into the house. It was a very stressful way to live. It was after an awful spinal surgery I went through when I was 12. They were my cousins, and my parents caught them trying to steal my painkillers. Dude crapped his pants while sitting on my couch playing a video game, and just sat there finishing the match. We were having an old-fashioned LAN party, and the entire room cleared out. Intruded in a homemade family dinner uninvited, and then insulted my cooking. Didn't get a thank you either. We invited a group of people over for lunch. One of them arrived, put a bunch of food in a plastic container, and left to bring it to eat with her boyfriend. My mom made a huge dinner for my aunt and cousins. They showed up 2 hours late, told my mom, "Oh, sorry, the boys can't eat that much right now," and just went in our fridge and made them sandwiches instead. Friend must have seen me once put in the code for my spare key lockbox, and I came home to her in my effing house. Mind you, we're not close. Her excuse, she had to go to the toilet. Safe to say, I reset that stuff and didn't invite her over anymore. Weirded me out. I was a kid, my mom had a friend and her son over. They were over for a couple hours, and just as they were leaving, I noticed all of my video games were gone. I told my mom, she goes grabs his backpack, and of course, they were all in his bag. His mother immediately came to his defense, saying he's got a lot of games and must have thought they were his. It didn't even make sense, and she acted as if nothing had happened. Anyway, terrible mother, kid had no chance. He is now in jail for life, no parole, for shooting and killing a cop during a cocaine bust. Tried to discipline my very old, very sick dog for jumping up on the couch after they had given the jump on the couch signal to him. I had trained him to come by patting 3 times on whatever surface he was invited to, and this person kept doing the pat 3 times, then yelling at the poor confused puppy for coming. They were trying to summon the cat, and it went as well as expected. Locked me out of my own bedroom, proceeded to destroy my stuff, then had the nerve to yell at me for saying she can't go back in my room. A now ex-girlfriend came into my parents' home for only the 2nd time and said to my mother, "Wow, it's tidy in here for a change, haha." I could see in my mother's eyes the thought process of how to slap her to the next century without making a scene. Thankfully, she laughed it off, but that was a big red flag for me and my ex. Do you mean to tell me that when you go to a friend's house, you're not supposed to see how much of their stuff you can leave with? Oh. This is Rob from Karma Comic Chameleon saying thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, and share the video with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.